Perfect. All right. Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday weekly team call, July 29th. Kai and Greg Hayes, Elite Pro 8 leaders out of Austin, Texas. Guys, before we begin, we'd like to go over with our important announcement for today. Of course, our global convention event on October 21st to 24th. Global convention is now an annual event, so take note of that. And we are kicking off our first year in a gigantic way. And of course, because of COVID, we are going to be virtual, okay? But it's an amazing virtual event sculpted to your personal needs like never before. So we'd like to explain to you that your registration of $199 US, you will receive, Greg, would you like to?
Yeah, let me start off. Well, you just spent $199, almost 200 bucks. And you know what? Corporate's going to start off and give you a convention gift box valued at over $300. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to be in there, but I know based on other conventions and things that corporate's done, it's going to be really good. So,
absolutely. My goodness, it's just like our Lifevantage company is paying us to attend a convention. Wow, yep. I can't wait for that gift box, Greg. And second, we have a breakout content crafted to where you are in your distributor journey, meaning there are breakout sessions or classes that you and your team can take advantage of in order to increase your skills to build your successful Lifevantage business.
Right. And number three, now during the convention and in between certain events, corporate will be stopping and giving live prize gifts all over the place. So again, we're not sure exactly what that's going to be, but again, it's going to be an asset to be able to get something like that.
I love giveaways, Greg. So whatever it is,
I know you do.
I'll take it. So the next is you will receive a commemorative bracelet signifying $5 donation to Lifevantage Legacy. Guys, this is such a generous thing for Lifevantage to do this for us.
Yeah. And number five, another thing that they do, now you will get access to exclusive content. So when corporate and also key speakers are in different events, you're going to have the opportunity to write that stuff down and make sure that you have that. And if you're doing it the right way and you're taking this information, guess what? It's going to help you build your business.
Absolutely. And this is all fantastic news, you guys, because all are available to watch and rewatch for 30 days after the event. How cool it is. Right, Greg?
That's really cool. You know, typically we go to LVA and things like that, and we're taking notes and stuff. And I don't know how many times you've run into, I know I have, it's like, darn it, I forgot to take that note. I wish I could go back and listen to that or hear that or see that video again, and you're going to have the opportunity to do that. So that's all great. So one other thing we wanted to, make note here, make sure that you and your team, just not you, have registered. Again, it's only $199. And again, you don't have to pay for travel costs going there. You don't have to pay for your hotel. You don't have to pay for meals. That's all given. And don't forget, you are running a business. It is also a tax write-off. So you want to make sure that you do that. So,
it's the date, folks.
What's next, Kai?
So on to our motivational quotes, Greg.
Oh, motivational quotes.
Why don't you start it with?
Okay, I will. I'm going to start off with one of the key, quotes that kind of like by Jim Rohn. And it goes like this. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. So what's that mean? That basically means, look, you may not hit the Elite Pro 7 or Pro 10 overnight. It takes time. That's your goal. But you can change your direction. In other words, if things aren't going well for you and it's not happening, you can change, and it doesn't take months to change. You can do that overnight. So again, we thought this was a key quote that we can leverage and know when we go forward.
Absolutely. And the second is, success is doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Same thing from Jim Rohn, our favorite mentor. Because guys, even if you're doing ordinary things, but if you're giving your best, success will still follow you. Right, Greg?
Absolutely. Winners. Do we have any winners in the group? Well, sure we do. Whether you're a winner or not, winners always find a way to win. No matter
Absolutely.
what's going on, they find a way to win. And that helps them
Because,
be winners. Why is that,
yes,
Kai?
because winners don't wait for anybody, Greg, right?
That's right.
So success needs no explanation. Failure needs no alibi. Okay? No excuses, you guys. So, Greg, why don't you introduce our next a 5-minute
Well, let me
mentorship?
get going. Yeah, going forward here, every week we typically have one of our team leaders, and they take about 5 minutes, and they go through some mentorship, and they're showing, some of the knowledge and things that they've learned through their through their journey with Lifevantage. So with that said, Kai, who do we have this week? Who's going to share for us?
I'm so excited, Greg, because this is our premier Pro 4 leader who exhibited such great leadership and excitement, and he is committed all the way through. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Robert Duran. Robert, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kai and Greg. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Austin, Texas, Elite Pro 4. My wife and I hold 2 Pro 4 statuses, but we're continuing to move on. So today, the 5-minute presentation is what I want to do is I want to talk about we need to treat this business like what it really is, and that is it is a multi-million-dollar company, your company, that's international. So when you have that mindset saying what I have in my hand is a business that I run from home internationally, there's a type of pride and confidence that not a lot of people can relate to that Lifevantage offers us. $1 million business, guys. All right. So yes, you have to commit to the system. Yes, you have to follow everything that Kai and Greg say and our leaders. But there are certain things as business owners that I see, not only in my team, that they're missing. And these 5 steps, write them down, are going to take your business from a distributor to a international business owner that offers one of the most extraordinary products in the world with no competition. So the first one is hours, guys. Set your hours. I talk to a lot of distributors and they tell me, well, I kind of just figure it out. I'll see if I have time. Any business owner, even a regular business owner, traditional business owner, you're going to know that Walmart right now is from 7 to 8 p.m. because of the COVID, right? A plumber is going to have certain hours that they're going to answer the phone. But yet in Lifevantage, I talk to a lot of people and they don't have their hours straight. You ask me, hey, what are your hours for Monday? I can tell you right away what they are. It's between 5 to 8. Hey, when do you work Tuesday? I could tell you. It's from 10 to 12 and then from 1 to 2. And then I have from 5 to 8. So I can tell you when I work. So guys, if you don't have your hours straight of your business, if you're not able to say that, then that is one major thing that a business owner does that you're not doing. The second one is learn your back office. That is your office. It has payroll. It has so much information of your distributors, their emails. All right, so you need to master that back office because it is a software that is going to take your business to the next level. And that's what we're going to talk about today in our presentation. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. The next one is your data list. I've been doing this for 4 years and there's times where I'm just like, man, whatever happened to that person? Or I forget that I spoke to someone. So I'm sharing my screen right now and I hope you guys can see it. But this is a data list right here of people that I've spoken to over the years. I could tell you every person I've given an Axio to, every person I've shared information with, every person that they're in the first exposure, second exposure. All right, now this is a free thing called Streak, but you don't have to use it my way. I've mastered that part. Just get a sheet of paper and just do it. But right, I could tell you who's in the witness protection program, who I called and never spoke, who's a customer, who's a distributor. This has helped me dramatically because the years go by, we talk to a lot of people, and these are great ways for the next thing, which is follow up. Because of this, I can now follow up with people and I write down notes. What are their notes? What are they going through? And it just gives me a reason to give them a call. And the next one is advertising. So again, the first one is hours, if you're writing it down. The second one is learn your back office. The third one is data list. The fourth one is follow up. And the fifth one is advertise and stand out. Guys, I advertise my business on the newspaper. I advertise it on Facebook. I'm going to network meetings. I want for people, when they think of biohacking, I want for them to think of me, okay? So you have to advertise. It's a business. What business doesn't advertise? Of course, go through Lifevantage, make sure that everything is proper. But other than that, you need to advertise and promote yourself and brand yourself. So Kai, I hope that's the 5 minutes. But yes, advertise, stand out. As you notice, when I said Robert Duran, professional biohacker, I am branding myself. All right, and that's what we need to do to stand out, because realistically, there are other Lifevantage distributors, and if you're hidden in a bubble, the person that you were trying to get as a distributor or customer is going to go to that person. Why? Because they were treating it like a business. Thank you very much, guys. That's my 5 minutes. Thank you so much, Kai and Greg. And yes, continue growing. I wasn't like this 4 years ago, but over time, you just start to get frustrated because you're like, why am I not growing? And then you start to realize, wow, I need to treat this like a real business. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Wow. That was good, Robert. Thank you for a good 5 minutes. There's a lot you can learn from that. So I hope you guys
so
were
proud
taking
of
notes.
Robert.
Absolutely.
Wow, he did an amazing job.
Yes, he did. So
absolutely a leader.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robert.
Kai, I hear that there's something special going on for the rest of this meeting. Do we have a special guest speaker tonight? And can you tell us a little about who that person is, please?
Well, absolutely. Our special guest speaker for tonight, of course, is from our corporate. And I am just so excited because, as you can see here, this is the picture of his beautiful family. Frank Leon is a Lifevantage Field Development Manager. Frank has been with Lifevantage for 3 years and started as a level 2 supervisor in distributor support. Then he moved up to account manager position in February 2020. And he actually had the ability to join us in our Cancun trip last January. But guys, from February and now April, just 2 months ahead, he also moved up to the field development manager role and have been covering the East region, both as an account manager and field development. How cool is that? That's the reason why I invited Frank to join us tonight and give us some leadership training for our back office, because not a lot of us really are familiar with back office websites. So he will be walking us through this training, and our amazing topics. He will cover the qualifications, commission summary, holding tag, how to send messages and to email your team, and subscriptions. So we are so blessed to have Frank today, and I am going to give it to him right now. Frank, are you there? Welcome, welcome to our EO team training call tonight. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Kai. Yeah, this is fantastic. I love the enthusiasm. I love the sharing, and I love the team interaction. It's fantastic. Robert, great job, my friend. I'm actually going to piggyback on a lot of those things that you were talking about as well. So I appreciate that lead in. That's great stuff. But yes, guys, I am here to go over the back office. What I want to do is, again, put another tool in your hands for you to be able to utilize, so that way you can work on, again, as Robert stated, organizing, structuring, setting yourself up on a daily basis to utilize your back office to help you review, look at new members. Again, a lot of information, as Kai talked about, that we're going to step into. The sections I'm going to go over, again, the frequently asked questions that I've gotten as a supervisor in my account manager role and even in field development. So those are the things that I'm going to review. I am in the test environment, so there are some sections that I will skip over just because it'll time out and won't really do anything for us to actually look at. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen and be able to review our back office. If anything, if you guys have questions, please put those in the chat. I don't know, Kai or Greg, if you want to just monitor that. And as I pause, I'll give sections where I'll time out, and then I'll take it to you guys to just call out any general questions that we need.
Absolutely, Frank.
I appreciate it.
Guys, just text your questions and I will Give it to Frank, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So again, this is your back office. I know initially when you look at it, it's a lot of information. There's a lot to look at. So that's why I just kind of took it section by section. This number one piece here is where I'll start, which is qualifications. This is a great resource in the fact that it'll help you identify this period section, which will show you 6 months worth of history. So you can monitor growth. Again, if you set goals for yourself, you can kind of watch as that growth is happening. I also like to call out if you do have a higher month than maybe other months, you can utilize this to identify that month. And then through yourself in the organization pieces that you're doing, be able to say, okay, this was going on as a promo, or maybe our team was doing this as an incentive, so you can monitor that window of time. To the right of that will be the different pro rankings. And you can actually go in and pick any one of these rankings to see where your volume stacks in regards to that pro ranking. I'm going to stick on Pro 1 right now just to give you guys some insight on each one of these sections. So you're going to see a lot of colors in here as I'm bouncing through them. But this yellow one here is an indication that your preferred customers below you have placed orders, but you have yet to put your order in. So if you ever see yellow, that's a good warning to say, hey, your folks have done the work, you have yet to put yours in. And by clicking on this bar, you can actually identify where the volume is as far as the amount, what you have put in, and then that grand total itself. So as you can see with that formula, it's 0 that I put in, or a test account, I should say, is put in, plus the 540 that's come from my downline. So at that point, I know I've got 540 worth of PV, but I have yet to put in my order. So it's a good way to just monitor that and see where your downline's putting in and contributing to your personal volume. If you click on this organizational volume here, this is going to show you everybody who's bringing in. So in this instance, it's 1,320 in volume. It'll show you everybody that's in that and who's contributing to that volume. And then at that point, you can actually go into these individuals. So I'll go into Ryan Goodwin. And initially, when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, Ryan's bringing in 200 in volume. I wonder if that's him or is that maybe his downline. So by clicking on his name, it'll populate his box. If he's loaded up a picture, it'll be listed there. I can send him a direct message here. I can identify his ID number. But also, again, same instance, I could see that he's got 200 in volume, but Ryan has yet to put in his order. So that also indicates to me that this 200 in volume is actually coming from somebody within his downline. I can click on this organizational volume bar, and then I'm able to see that Paul Lewis is the one who's bringing in that volume. So it's a good way for me to reach out to Ryan and be like, hey, were you aware that you have this person who's doing really great? When was the last time you spoke to Paul? So it's, again, it's engagement with your team. It just keeps everybody accountable to making sure that they're staying in touch with those individuals, especially a runner within your group as well. So it's a good way to, again, monitor those folks within you and then see where that volume's coming from. Showing again, this bar is green, so it lets me know for a Pro 1 qualification, I've hit the number that I've needed to. But again, this yellow bar is my indicator that I have not yet put in my order to qualify for that pro ranking. So again, these colors will make a difference with knowing where you're at as well. Going into like Pro 3, I'm going to jump into that one. And again, as you notice now, we have more bars. I still have the 100 in PV as my qualifying. My organizational volume is still there, but now I have a new bar, which is my qualifying volume. And now as I go through each pro level, of course, the volume itself is going to increase as far as what I need to qualify for that volume for that pro ranking. And so again, I can go into this qualifying volume, see where that volume's coming from. But these strong leg 1 and 2 is an indication where that volume's coming from and ensuring that I'm balanced within that volume. As you grow, you're going to want to ensure that you have that balance. And this is why it's good to look at this qualifications to identify where is that balance coming from. So again, if I click on this qualifying volume, this 330 is the Hawaii test account. That's 330 right there. Go into the 210, that's the Germany test account, and that's where my 210 is coming from. So it's just a way to identify where's that volume coming from, who do I need to stay engaged with, and if there is a discrepancy in that volume, now I know which team member I might work with a little bit more in order to get me to where I need to be. But again, it'll work for them as well because it's moving them along and growing their volume as well. So again, the qualifying volume, the difference between that and the organizational volume is this is just calling out what I need to qualify for this Pro 3. And now that I have 2 legs, within our comp plan, we split it up. So in this instance, it'll be 80%, 20%, meaning 80% can come from this strongest leg, and then the 20% from the second strongest leg. This is why this qualifying bar is there to let you know if I've already got my 80% from my strongest leg, I've capped that one out. And now I need to start working on the second strongest leg to bring in that other volume. And then this is where this will fill up and show me that I've qualified. So again, this is just a monitoring piece to help you know where you're at and also to know where that volume is coming from. As you move up into the higher ranks, now going into Pro 5, you'll notice that my personal volume number has gone up. So that is an indication that, again, I need to have 200 as a first step in volume to qualify there. Same instance, I can click on that bar and see what volume I'm at. This yellow letting me know I have yet to put in my order. But now I have a third leg, because now again, as I go into those higher rankings, I need to spread that out again. So at this point, it's a 60, 30, 10 split between these legs. So I have my strongest leg here is the Hawaii test account, my Germany account bringing in my 210, and then the 780 is all of the volume that's below that. So all of these folks below that is what they're bringing in. So again, to harp on this piece of the balance, as you're newer to Lifevantage, it's a good way of just ensuring that you have those legs, they're spread out, and that balance is there. As I talk to folks that have been with us for 5 or 6 years, you know, they always come back, oh, I wish I would have known, because then I could have balanced this out, because they tend to have one really strong leg, maybe a second person, and then that outside volume is where they're just cringing their teeth and wishing they had done it a little bit differently. So by preemptively utilizing this resource, it will help you with that balance and be able to monitor that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, whatever the case may be. What I do tell folks is after the 25th of each month, it's a great time to go in and check out your qualifications, because all your subscription orders will have ran at that point. So now you can get a great idea of where you are with your organizational volume, and then based on whatever pro ranking that you're listed at, you can identify where you are with your qualifying along with your balance. So that's the time where you really start pushing, identifying where you need that additional help in that volume. And again, that focus will come into play as you get towards the end of the month. So it just gives you that drive. But anytime you're in your back office, please take a look at this. Again, noticing your colors. I'll give you an example here so you guys can see with this, I believe it's our Germany account. Yes. So when your bar is green like this, that is your indication that your PV is in place, and now you can start focusing on that organizational or qualifying volume. If you have nothing in place, your PCs, and you have not done anything, this is where this gray bar will show. That's just goose eggs around the board. Nobody's done anything. Usually the first few days of the month, that's what this will look like. But as you get through later in the month, you should have a yellow and then that green indicating that you've got that first step taken care of. So again, I like to harp on this piece because I do get folks that ask a lot of questions about this. It's a matter of just filling up those bars. Again, knowing that balance that needs to be in play, and then utilizing this resource here to identify who that's coming from. And like I said before, by clicking on those names, you can identify, is it that individual or maybe somebody in their downline? So qualifications, I do like to hang out on. It's a great resource. Again, these other two sections, it won't let me click on, but it does show your order history. Your sponsor's information will be listed there as well. So I'll pause right there. Any questions come through in the chat, guys, that I need to address right now?
None so far.
Excellent.
Let's move on.
Gotcha. So these next bars up on top, this will show you your personal enrollments. This will, if you click on these bars here, it'll identify anybody that you personally enrolled. It'll show your ID as the people that you've enrolled within your downline for that month itself. And that is, again, an indication of who you've personally enrolled. PCs and distributors, that's what the purple and the blue bar indicate. You have your group enrollments. This will show you your group, meaning your downline, and the enrollments that they've done. And then same instance on that, you would click on those bars. And as you can see now, it does show the test account ID, but there's two other IDs listed here. So if I do find that somebody's really driving hard their enrollments, I could recognize those individuals by calling out their ID number here and being able to find them to say so-and-so is doing a fantastic job with enrollments. Me as a distributor, I would reach out to them to say, what are you doing this month that's different than last? And maybe get some pointers from your team as well. So again, a good resource to be able to identify those runners and those folks that are fast enrolling. And of course, you always want folks to be on subscriptions. So this is a good indication too of those folks as far as enrollees on subscription. It'll show you their volume, their subscription dates, the next run date that's listed for them as well. Again, their ID and name. But again, a good way to monitor those folks just to ensure that those subscription orders are coming out on a consistent basis. You can go over your full organizational volume here with the OV. That's basically, again, the number that we have here. And then your PV for each month to identify if that's an increase or a decrease, and monitor that as well. And then also the enrollments month to month. Again, the distributors being blue, preferred customers being green. So I've been on these and I've clicked on these buttons, and I've had folks who've been with us for years that have been like, I've never touched that. I didn't know I could do that. But it's a tool, you guys. So go in there, touch, play with it. You can't break it. It's just a matter of finding out what you're going to use it for. Right above that is going to be daily bonus. This is something new to Lifevantage. Anybody who's Pro 3 and above, you'll actually get paid out a little bit quicker on any of those new subscription, or excuse me, those new enrollments that you've done. So you'll be able to monitor that dollar amount there. If you are a distributor, Pro 1 or Pro 2, you'll still see those numbers, but you'll still get that standard payout on every Friday. Moving on to this next section, it's what's new, pretty self-explanatory. Anything that's new to the company will be listed here, whether it be a promotion, things like daily bonus that we just went over. I know our China ambassador is going to be having some new updates to it, but this is a quick link to that, meaning it'll take you to the information about China ambassador, talk about the videos that are listed, and then let you know the fee that's applied to that, so that way you can get certified as a China ambassador as well. The Lifevantage app, and I encourage folks, if you're not using it, download it. Almost to the points that, again, Robert was making about being organized on the go. So if you're not going to be at home in front of your laptop, you have the app to utilize that you can monitor. There's sections where people that you enroll within your contacts, you can make notes, as he stated. I met them at a baseball game. We talked about Axio. You can actually document that within the app as well. So I'd love the opportunity maybe later down the line to have the app team be on a training just like this and walk you through the app. So again, you can utilize that tool as well to benefit you on the go with your business. Again, promotions will be listed. So anything that's going on, like Flip the Switch is happening right now. So this will get you connected to that information and letting you know that this is the last month where you can do the maintenance portion of that Flip the Switch. And then our TaxBot, which is a third party from Lifevantage, but this is a good subscription where you can monitor your taxes throughout the year. Again, go back to Robert saying, this is your business. So you want to be able to write off some of those expenses that you have, as Greg was saying, with the global event. So being able to monitor that, this is where the TaxBot would come in and work to your benefit. Jumping on from there, we have our Big Blue calendar. This does let me go in there. The Big Blue calendar is really beneficial when we can actually maneuver around a little bit more because you'll be able to post maybe a meeting that you have face-to-face with folks, and you can actually add the event here and be able to list all the details like where it's going to be, who's the host, your contact information. If there's a fee to actually show up, maybe you have a guest speaker, it'll be able to list all of that within there. And then I think of it too is that, as I talked about before, I'm originally from Southern California. So if I was a distributor there and I moved to Utah and I didn't know anyone, I would come to this calendar to see if there were any events that are being held in Utah close to me that I could attend and speak the Lifevantage language, if you will. It's helpful. It just builds that camaraderie, and knowing that, again, we're an international company. So within the States, having a place to go to and speak the Lifevantage language, it's always great to be able to identify that, and you can utilize this calendar for that. If you add something and want to make edits down the line, it should allow you to do so. If you have any issues with it, our front desk individual, the receptionist, her name is Hannah, at our office, she'll be able to assist with any questions with the Big Blue calendar. Going on from there, again, we've talked about global. That was definitely one of the big pieces you guys reviewed. The event registration report will actually let you go in there, and you can actually register from the event from this link right here. So it's a quick link, and it'll show you any previous events that you've gone to as well. So again, it's a good way to monitor where I've been, and then also go, what tickets do I have available, and what events are available for me to register for. The business tools, this is your referral site. If you're ever going to share your referral site, you want to make sure you have the right URL. So you can have a quick link here that'll take you to it. You can, again, if you've loaded a photo, make sure that that's up there. The URL is extremely important to make sure you have it correct. So when you're sharing out with those prospects, they know how to get to your website to enroll or even just review the company itself. News Center, almost like latest news down here, will give you any updates with the company. It'll give you any general information. So News Center is, again, it's a good spot to look at. Again, it's listed in our blue bar up on top as well. This is just a general quick link that'll get you there. The Lifevantage Store, this is where you can buy swag like Frank has on. You can get hats there. You can get pens, notebooks. There's the blender bottles. So when you're excited about your business, you want to share that in a variety of ways. This is a great resource to go to with all the different shirts and things that are available there. They're always adding new things to it as well. It's just a great resource. And then even if you have leaders who want to do an incentive, you can purchase a couple items there and be able to incentivize your team with drawings or whatever the case may be. It's just helpful to know that you've got that resource to go to and look at all of those items. The industry history more talks about, again, Lifevantage as a business, statistics when it comes to multi-level marketing companies. So that's a good link to go into and review. We have our TaxBot, again, it's the expense tracker. So if you signed up for TaxBot, this is where the tracker will be, where you can monitor and load that information as well. If you did come in with a silver or gold pack and you have the upgrade option available for you, this purchase upgrade pack is listed here. And you can see the silver to platinum, the gold to platinum, along with our general platinum and gold packs will be listed there. And then anything that it includes, any updates will be listed within those packs as well. Because one misconception that I know I've addressed a few times is if you bought a silver pack and then you're moving to it by utilizing an upgrade pack to platinum, the assumption is you're going to get all the products that weren't in your silver pack that are in the platinum pack. And that's a misconception. It's actually the upgrade packs are their own entity, if you will. So you can go in here and actually look and see what you're going to be upgrading to and identify those products as well. So it's just a good way of getting those real expectations of what am I going to get when I utilize an upgrade pack. Again, a lot of folks assume it's just the difference between a silver and a platinum, but in actuality, it's their own items listed within that upgrade pack. Perfect. All right, so that was our upgrade pack. Again, our China Ambassador link, which I went over before. Our mobile feedback form, that's some old information. I know they're going to be upgrading our back office here, but again, with COVID happening, our priorities kind of get structured a different way. But this mobile feedback was just about our previous app, where again, the new app has feedback within it itself, where you can give that to our design team.
Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I give you a couple of questions that they raised
Please
before
do.
we
There we go.
move on?
That'll work.
Yeah,
Excellent.
number one is they are asking from Kona. They're asking will there be a way in the future to link this with Facebook for the app?
The app itself, yes, there's Messenger that'll be available for it. Again, with me watching some of those trainings, I'm not going to go into all the detail, but I think that's one of the reasons why I would love to have the developer and the VP of our app on a training like this to give you guys the insight.
Great news. Then the next question is coming from Robert Duran. Is the upgrade for 30 days or can they upgrade whenever they want?
They can upgrade. Again, if you came through with the silver or gold, you can upgrade at any point. As long as that's available for you to utilize, you can do that at any time.
Can you also explain a little bit about the upgrade packs? Because this is coming from the Luis Puente. I don't understand those upgrade packs. So could you repeat that again, please?
Sure. So if I signed up as a silver, and again, with that point, I still have gold and platinum that are all the options when I initially enroll. But if I came in as a silver and I said, I got a silver pack, these are the products that I got within it, and I find the success that I was looking for, I kind of jump into the culture that is Lifevantage. I have great leaders like Kai and Greg that are speaking to me and keeping me inspired. And at that point, I say, you know what? I wish I would have came in with the platinum, but knowing that that still is an option, I want to upgrade to that. So what you can do is basically get a second pack, which is an upgrade pack, and you can get that platinum status. You'll get other products within it, and through which, again, now you have a business that's going to expand you, having the ability to share those products, knowing now that you may have a key audience that you're catering to. You can get that upgrade pack and then maybe even dive into more pet tandem if those are the individuals that you're trying to cater to as well. But that upgrade pack will get you to that platinum status as well. Great questions, guys. Please keep putting those in. I want to address these things, and I'm not afraid to say I don't know, because if I don't know, I know the people to reach out to that can definitely get those answers. I can always get that back to Kai for you guys.
Yes, I think you answered their questions. Thank you. Let's move
Hey,
on.
hang on. I want to go back to one
Yes,
that
sir.
Robert asked. So if you want to, you just enrolled, do you only have 30 days or how long do you have to actually upgrade to the next level?
Gotcha. So you can upgrade at any time. So I've had folks who come in and they just purchase a star kit and maybe 5 bottles of Nerf 2. They still have that option to purchase a silver, gold, or a platinum pack. Upgrade packs are maybe those folks that came in on the lower level, like a silver, and they said to themselves, man, I wish I would have gotten a platinum. That is still available to them to purchase. And what you're doing is basically upgrading your status from silver to a platinum by utilizing one of those upgrade packs. Great questions, guys.
And
So
then
again,
another
let me
question,
finalize.
Frank.
Hang on, Kai. So
Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
just to find,
Go
because
ahead.
I'm getting texts here
You're good.
personally. So I can do that. I can do that a year from now.
Yeah, you can do it as long as you've got the
Anytime.
Yep. It's again, if you sign somebody up, again, this is where that 30-day window thing comes into play. When I enroll someone, that calendar month is where I can earn that Smart Start bonus from those individuals. That's where it kind of locks you into that calendar month. If somebody came in and they purchased, again, a start kit and maybe 5 Nerf 2s, or if they came in and they bought a silver pack, and they do want to upgrade. If I got paid on, let's say $80 on that Smart Start bonus, and then now they purchase an upgrade pack, now I'll get the difference of whatever that payout would be. So whether it be $320 if they went to a full platinum, it's again, just based off that volume that they're getting. But I think that's where that 30-day window kind of comes in question on those. Makes sense.
Perfect. And then a question from Robert Duran and Luis Puente. Can they upgrade just one time? This is just one-time upgrade. You cannot upgrade 2 times, 3 times.
Exactly. It's a one done deal. That's why initially you come in, if you got a silver, you can only upgrade just that one time.
Okay, one last question for the holding tank. Please explain to them that the holding tank will only be 30 days. Go ahead.
You got it.
Explain that again.
I got you. I'm going to jump into that one. I'm going to give me about 4 more minutes and I'll get to the holding tank. We'll break that down.
Thank you, Frank.
No worries. Great questions, those guys. Keep throwing them in the chat. It's helpful. Let me see. So again, the legacy donation tax information, that just gives you details about legacy donations as far as being able to track it and for tax purposes. I am going to delve into the commission summary because again, if you do earn that Smart Start bonus or the primary bonus, you'll be able to monitor those numbers here. But one key piece too is you can actually click on these and this will give you a more detailed breakdown on was that like Fast Start pool? Did this come from Pro 7 pool? It'll give you more detail here. And you can actually do a download PDF and this will show you the individuals that you got paid out on and at what level and at what percentage as well. So again, on that primary bonus, this is where you're gonna get like 2%, 9%, the 5%. It'll break all of that down here within this report. So again, it's just a good way to monitor and review that on a monthly basis. The secondary bonus one I do like going into because that one tends to be one that happens a little bit more quickly as you're building your business. So as you see those come through, same instance on that, you can click on that number and identify, was this all Fast Start? Was there any sort of launch bonus that were attached to it as you get to the Pro 3 and above level? But if you hit that download PDF, I know myself when folks initially enroll people, they kind of confuse, well, what did they get? How much of whatever did they buy? So through which this report itself, which again, I apologize, this being the test environment, it's gonna be a little bit squampy to play with. But you can actually zoom in on this, make this full screen. It'll show you the names of the individuals and then the percentage rate, so 30% or 40% on that Smart Start bonus we paid, and it'll give you the total amount there as well. So again, just a quick way to monitor that. And if you do get a Smart Start bonus, you can go into this resource and just ensure that you got the full 40%, or if you know you got the 30, it's just a detailed way to break it down. These other 3 are pretty self-explanatory in the fact that it's all around subscription. So anybody that's not on a subscription, those folks that are on a subscription, you could actually review within these reports here. It'll give their name and ID number. And then for you as an individual, if you go into the subscription volume overview, it'll show you month to month what your subscription volume was. So that way you can identify how much volume am I bringing in just through subscriptions. And it's a good way of just structuring and ensuring that you're either increasing that or ensuring that that number is where you want it to be as well. Striking distance, this will let you know if you have anybody Pro 3 and above, that you can monitor them and see how close they are to that next Pro rank level. This will give you a percentage rate, like they're 5% away or 10% away. So you as a leader for your team, it's a good way to just, again, cheer them on and ensure that they know you're there to support them at that next level as well. These next two are more to do with promotional trackers that we have in place. So influencer tracker, I believe this promotion ran about 6 or 7 months. So we'll put these in place so that way if there is a criteria that you have to fit in order to qualify for a certain event, we'll list these trackers here so you can monitor that to see if you hit those numbers. And then if we do categorize them out, you'll be able to identify how close you are. Same instance on this, so it'll fill up a bar, so that way it'll let you know how complete you are with that, with those incentives. So again, it's just a good way to monitor, structure. If you're pushing for something, you can go in there on a monthly basis just to see how close you are to hitting that goal. And then same instance with that road to convention. Pro 5 tracker, again, Pro 5 is a great milestone to hit in Lifevantage. You earn yourself an account manager. You get to actually meet with other Pro 5s to network and kind of hear their stories and what it took for them to get there. And then you get to go to one of our Pro 5 summits at Park City. And with that, you get the leaders like a Pro 8, Pro 9, Pro 10 that could be there to offer training to you and just ensuring that you're continuing to build and your momentum continues as well. So this is a good way for you to track it. Again, if it's a goal for you, you want to monitor that and see how close you are. And then month to month, as those 6-month windows of those qualifications are, you can see how close you're getting to that as well.
And
so,
that is an all expense paid trip, Frank, right?
That is 100% correct. And it's just, again, it's international. We have folks, the last one that I was able to go to, our COVID Pro 5, was folks from Australia and New Zealand. It was all throughout the United States. And just to hear the stories of how some folks took them 3 years, some folks took them 6, and some people took them 6 months. Some did face-to-face meetings, some did social media. So it's just a good way of identifying, how did they get there, and then to mingle and network with those individuals, to pick their brains and get those ideas from there is just, it's monumental. It really is a difference maker. And then this next section will give you those new members. Why this is important? Holding tank, because we want to know when did they enroll, and then at that point be able to identify, okay, if they came in on this date, now I'm going to come over to my downline. Again, if you hover over any of these up on top, it'll populate those extra spots for you to review. So if I hover over downline and go into holding tank, this is where that 30-day window will be called out right here. You have 30 days from their entry date, which is listed right here, in order to place these individuals within your placement tree. Why this is important to know is, again, after 30 days, they will leave your tank and they'll just be frontline to you. Though you can still move them, it is required for a fee, and you have to fill out some paperwork for compliance, and then their signatures required. So right now, I have the ability to place them anywhere within my within my placement tree, utilizing this holding tank. And it's really easy to do. You just go into change, put in the ID of the individual that you want to put them under, and then hit verify. Well, what that will do will populate their name right here. So again, you didn't transpose a number, maybe leave a digit out. It's just a good way to verify that you're putting them under the right people. Once you've done that, you hit confirm, and then they're in the placement tree at that point as far as who the individual you place them under.
What happens after 30 days? They didn't assign?
They will be placed frontline to you. So basically they're on your first level and they'll be placed under you. So as you as the enroller, they'll be right on that first line. So
did you hear that, guys? So
yeah.
30 days is the window. And there's a question here, Frank, about that.
Sure.
Why place people? What's the benefit reason from Christian DeMoro?
Gotcha. So when we talked about the qualifications, so I'll go back over here. If I'm shooting for, let's say, Pro 5, my placement tree, when I place people, let's say I need volume in my second strongest leg, and I signed up somebody, I can go into my placement tree. I'll still be the enroller, but I can place them under this Test Germany account in order for that volume to count in that leg. And at that point, I'm growing my team member because they're getting volume. And then I'm looking at my overall qualifying and organizational volume, and that's growing in that instance as well. So this is why, again, looking at your holding tank, you want to have an idea of where you're going to be placing these individuals, because your tree, you want it to grow roots and you want it to branch out. And as you're getting to these Pro 3, Pro 5 levels, you want to ensure that that balance is in place. So if you didn't place them and they were all on your front line, you would have a bunch of people on the strongest leg, and then you would not have balance because these other two legs would not have anyone underneath them or a minimal amount. And at that point, you're skewed off. You're not balanced out. You're heavy on one side. So this is what this placement tree will allow you to do. It'll allow you to go in there. Prior to placing folks, you want to do a little bit of homework to identify where am I going to place them? Where do I need this volume? So that way I'm staying balanced and ensuring that I'm maximizing my business.
Okay, Frank, I have an important question from Rona Talusan. I know how to get the global pricing list of products in the library, but where do you see the packs available in all countries?
Great question.
I like this.
Yeah, we could do that in the back office. There's also ways that I'll show you in the website. If you change the flags and then go down to resources, the packs are available there. Or even if you just change the flag to a different country and type in the words enrollment, that will take you to all the enrollment packs that will be available for them as well. But I'll actually go into the library because that is one of those pieces I want to jump into as well. You guys are ahead. I like it. Just harping back on this, again, this holding tank in that 30-day window. If I did place somebody, let's say 10 days in, and then on the 15th day, I say, actually, you know what? I want to change that placement. I want to put them somewhere else. They will be gone from your holding tank, but you can actually email distributor support or call distributor support to get that placement changed again. There is no paperwork required because they're still within that 30-day window. If you do have an account manager, so Pro 5 and above, you could reach out to them to place them again. So as long as you're within that 30-day window, you can still place them a bunch of different times within your tree in order to, again, ensure that you're putting them in the right place. And that kind of leads us right into a great spot, which is the graphic tree. So again, if you're going to say, hey, I want to place somebody, I'm just not sure where I need to, and then you look at your qualifications, another thing to give you a visual is your graphic tree, so you can actually get an idea of what it looks like. I know mentally I could see my tree, but as you can see with this test account, we have a lot going on here, but this will give you a visual of what it'll look like. It'll be you as on top, and, you might have one individual and then having a bunch of folks branch out underneath them. And as you guys see, as I hover above each one of these, it'll give me the name of that individual. And then same thing, as I click on those, it'll show me, just as I did in the qualifications, their name, their volume. I can send them a direct message if I wanted to as well. But this graphic tree will give you an actual visual, and then you can utilize these colors here in the legend to identify what is their pro level, and it gives you a good idea of, again, where that placement, and even after you've placed somebody, same instance, you can go back here and review that just to ensure you got them in the right place. This will actually let you edit too. You can search by their ID number. You can change the levels. So if I only want to look at levels 1 and 2, by changing that to 2 and hit update report, that will help me identify just those 2 levels. So again, as you get bigger within the company, you're going to see where your tree's growing and growing. And this is a good way to just kind of dwindle it down a bit. I love this for the visual aspect of it. But if I'm going to be, again, identifying my business and these individuals and maybe trying to reach out to some of these folks, this is where the detailed genealogy is probably my home base for that. Reason being is I can search by name here or by their ID number. And again, as your tree gets bigger, you're going to be like, oh, I know a John. I think his last name starts with an F. So you can actually type in John and then just put the letter F, and those results will actually show up down here. So it's an easier way to identify those individuals that way. This organization section, you can, again, expand it out, look at either placement tree or enrollment tree here. And then if you do edit anything like check mark, now I see my distributors and my PCs. And being that I've done something, I put in there, if I hit update report, now this report at the bottom here is going to reflect that. So now you can see I've got distributors and preferred customers listed. And these columns here are the default ones that'll just populate right off the bat. You can still use these in different ways. I always indicate that this last ordered is a good one to look at. If you click on it once, what it'll do is it'll show you lowest to highest. And if you click on it a second time, it'll put it in chronological order, meaning it'll let you see the most recent orders and then it'll take you back chronologically to see the, the orders that go back even to like January. I have a huge tree that I'm looking at here, but what I would use this for if I were a distributor is maybe looking at my January through March window and saying, hey, you know what? I haven't reached out to these folks. It's been a while, or hey, when I first started, I got this person on, but I didn't have the knowledge base that I have now. And I may re-engage with these folks. They might have purchased once and then just dropped off. So having their phone number listed here, the date of their last order, if you click on their name itself, it'll identify as well what they ordered. You can go into their order history. It'll just give you a little bit more detail so you're preemptively getting prepared for that phone call. And now when I reach out to this individual, hey, how you doing? How's life treating you? Hey, remember when we talked to Lifevantage? I can go into a full conversation. And by re-engaging with these folks, it's people who have an understanding of what Lifevantage is already. Or again, they might have tried a product that they either liked or didn't like, and it's a good jumping point for me to start a conversation. So by utilizing this back office detailed genealogy, it's a good way of structuring that out. So all of these columns here will do a little bit of something for you, but if there's stuff in here like enrollment date or placement ID that I'm not too concerned about, I go into format, I can actually edit what I see here, or I can even push up some things so they're a little bit more prominent. So PV is something I always harp on, folks. So if I want, I can move that up. And let's see here. And then if I don't want to look at enrollment date, I can push that off to the left and get that out of the way. Again, renewal date, I don't want that. Same instance, I made those edits. If I hit update report, what this allowed me to do now is it's going to structure my columns down here to be more focused on what I'm looking at. So if I'm more concerned again about PV, it'll list that here. It took out those two columns that I don't want anymore, and it just made it a little bit more legible. So I have a more idea of what I'm looking at. And get you as a distributor, depending on what you're using it for or what columns you want to look at, is where you can format this based off of these options to see what you need to see. PV, again, I always harp on this. We talked about if I don't have my PV in and all my PCs below me have placed their orders, okay, at that point, I'm more counting on my PCs to put in the PV. But if I go in there and I put in my 100, or if I have the availability to do 200 month to month, I'm counting on myself, and I know I have that order in, and my PV's in place for me for secondary bonus, or even for primary in order for me to qualify for my pro ranking. So if I wanted to monitor that within my group, again, I've got the PV listed here. If I click on it once, it'll do it lowest to highest. If I click on it again, it'll do highest to lowest. And then what it'll also do is, so now I've got all these numbers here, but if I just want to solidify this and look at numbers that are going to be people that I want to reach out to, now I'd go into this filter section. So filters will allow you to look at particular rankings. I can look at, whether it be PV between a certain numbers. So I can look at anywhere from 0 to 99. So anybody under those digits that I kind of talked about, I can update report. And those PV numbers will show up over here as I indicated. Same thing, hit PV to put them in the order that I want to look at that. Click on it a second time, and through which now it'll organize it to where now I need to reach out to those individuals. So again, this being the test account, so it may not function exactly the same way, but it'll at least give me the idea of, hey, now I need to reach out to, Christine and Candy because they're under that amount. They are PCs. Okay, now I know I don't need to worry about them, but I do have this Canada test account. They're a distributor, and they're only signed up for 40 in PV month to month. I need to get in touch with them to, again, preach the whole 100 to 200 in PV month to month to count on yourself and not your PCs below you. So it's a good way of just monitoring that, or to call out these PCs and be like, hey, I'm glad that you're ordering. Maybe you want to become a distributor. So it's a conversation starter at the very least. So these filters are in place for you to do that. Again, it's all just dependent on what you're using it for. So as I talked about before, you can't break it. It's just a matter of maybe notating how you got there first, because I can't deny I've had those conversations where they said, Frank, I did something, I don't know how, but I got these numbers and I want to do that again. How do I do that? I don't know what you did. So monitor your steps, check out the columns you filled out, go in, okay, I did this, now I hit update report. Yes, it pulled exactly as I wanted. I have it written down, so now I know how to duplicate that over and over again. And the third
Wonderful. Frank,
Yes, ma'am.
our questions are accumulating, so I'd like to stop you for the moment. And
Feel
this
free.
goes to, this is from Jen Villanueva. She said, if I have a distributor that is not active for 2 to 3 years and wants to go back to business, should they need to re-enroll again? I see they are still on my graphic tree, but not active.
Yep, just depending on their status. So at that point, we want to see if they're terminated or not. So if they're not terminated, they can just start ordering again and they're good to go. If they are in a suspended or a terminated status, that's two different things. So suspended, they have to order 100 in PV to get restarted again on that initial order. If they're terminated, then they definitely would have to re-enroll, and they can actually do that online now because the account is terminated. It'll allow you to re-enroll without having to do any extra steps.
Frank,
Right,
can you
and I
give
did
us
that
an
with one of
example?
my customers or one of my distributors. I called the Lifevantage, and I was able to re-enroll when he was terminated a year after, or 12 months, I think is the termination date. 12 months to 24 months, then you can re-enroll them again.
Yeah, as long as they're terminated. Usually I know the cleanup we do is if they have no activity, no downline, and they have not placed any orders in a year window of time, that's where the termination will happen.
Better check with the corporate customer service. And then the next question would be, is there any way we can have a list of products for each pack?
Like the enrollment packs?
Yeah, the list of products of each enrollment packs. Yeah, that's very important, Frank. We don't see the enrollment packs for, you know.
I'll show you guys right now how to do that. If you go to the web
Cool.
and just start typing. So this is one thing that I learned with the new website. If I just start typing enrollment, what it'll do is, as you can see here, it's showing me all the all the results whenever I type that in. But if I get specific, now it's going to show me enrollment packs here. And then when I click on that, it's going to open it up to an actual PDF breakdown, and it'll show you all the products and what's available in one of those. So yeah, again, this is why I say whether it be back office, the app, the website, it's just knowing how to use it to find what you're looking for. So definitely, again, as I stated before, if you're wanting to use the launch guide, you can do launch, and then it's right there. You click on that, that'll take you right to it. So it saves you that kind of that, you know, where's Waldo feeling, or where you're searching within each link at the bottom and trying to find something. By typing it in, of course, you have to type it correctly as far as the spelling, but by doing so, it just gets it to a quicker way of finding those resources.
Okay, another question from Luis Puente. There are bundles that do not appear on the resource information. For example, in Mexico, there are 9 different product bundles in addition to the distributor starter kits. And in Mexico, there are 5 of those.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's actually something Fernando, our director down in Mexico, is working on right now, where he's going to actually get a few of those listed and even get some updates to that as well. So I know that's something that's in the works.
And then another question from Robert Duran. Yes, what happened to, Robert, I will answer this. Stephanie from Houston, if you have to find out whether her account is terminated or not, because if she had automatic subscription, her account can be just reactivated. Yeah.
Yep.
And
utilize support@lifevantage.com. So that's a quick way to just send an email off. It might take them a couple of days to get back to you, but at the very least, knowing that that saves you time from hanging out on the phone if you don't have that time available.
And last question from Pooja Da Silva for now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the enrollment tree and what is the placement tree? What is the difference between these two, please?
Great question. So enrollment tree is showing you your personally enrolled individuals. So that's going to be different than your placement tree. Your placement tree is where you're building your full line. So again, as we looked at the, let's go back to the graphic tree itself. As you see your placement tree, it's basically showing you your whole organization, anyone that you've enrolled and maybe placed within your downline itself. And then if you change this to, which I thought I had the option here. Let's see, direct lines, indirect lines. You know what? I think I know I do have it in detailed genealogy, or excuse me, I clicked on the same one. Detailed genealogy, your enrollment tree of those folks that you personally enrolled. Why it's important to know that is when you get to that Pro 3 ranking, your gen match is going to come into play. And this is why knowing who those individuals are that are in your enrollment tree compared to your placement tree, it's going to be important to have that detail as well. So that's the difference between the two. Enrollment is I personally enrolled. My placement tree is those folks that are placed underneath me, and it's basically showing your entire organization.
Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, you're fine. That's exactly what it is. That's basically the breakdown between the two of those. Knowing the difference is definitely something that's going to benefit you as you grow within the company as well. And then Greg, did you have a question or was it already answered? We're good? All right. All right. So again, this resource, as I stated before, it's just a matter of what am I using it for? Am I doing an incentive for my team? This is where knowing like the different batch dates. So the 5th, 10th, 15th, and 20th, having all those dates here, that'll help you identify again, what days those are running. As you can see, the subscription batch dates are listed there. And even if you want to just solidify this to maybe being just your newer folks that just joined, you can edit the month, day, and year of when they joined as well. So this structure, this detailed genealogy, I harp on it, and why I sit on this one so long is because it's just a vast amount of information. It's a matter of what are you going to use it for.
Frank, we are running out of time, but I really want you to discuss the EVO, how to maximize the usage of EVO for their team, for their growing team.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is going in and just showing folks, like, again, how to place an order or a subscription to make edits to that. This back office is, again, it's a tool to be utilized. What am I using it for, and how can I benefit off of this? Those sections that I've gone over have been, again, those things that folks ask about the most. This subscription area too, knowing how to teach your folks to edit their cancel it. You could do that quickly here. Anything with changing anything within the subscription that you do change, whether it be the address that it's going to, the ship date, always hit save changes. So again, this is just another way of empowering your team so that they know this is a tool that I need to use. How am I going to use it to save me time and effort? That organization piece that Robert talked about is just that, knowing how to use a tool to organize myself. If I'm going to be working from 12 to 3, I need to make the most of that time. How can I be efficient? And this is where your back office is definitely going to help you with that. Am I going to focus on one particular area? One thing that I've even tasked to a lot of folks is an hour a day or a half hour a day of just back office. Go in there, touch some buttons, do things that make you feel uncomfortable within the resource that you've never gone into before. Because if you're feeling uncomfortable, you're challenging yourself and you're learning something new. If you get stuck, you can reach out to Kai and say, hey, who's good at the back office? I need help. This is the area that got stuck in. It just saves people a lot of the time too, of just going, I don't know how to work the back office. Well, what specifically are you talking about? Well, everything. Okay, well, that's going to take a while. But solidifying particular subjects and areas to focus on really makes a difference. So utilizing this resource is to your benefit. It's just finding out, what am I going to try to use it for? And then at that point, how am I going to do it? I tried it myself. I have yet to find it. Now let me reach out for help. So asking for help is definitely a leadership skill that folks need to help themselves develop. It's to your benefit. When you ask for help, you're asking for resources, you get better at it, and then now you become the teacher at that point. So back office is where you can organize, review, check your commissions. Again, when it comes to subscriptions, empowering yourself. Anytime I come to this section, I always tell folks, you always want to add your product first, then remove what you don't want, and then hit save changes, and that will lock everything into place. So I talk about this because this is your resource. It's your toy to use, but are you going to use it for your benefit, or is it just going to sit in the garage like a nice car, but I don't drive it? Why would you do that to yourself? Get out there, get on the road, and utilize your back office to help you grow.
Absolutely. So, so sorry, you guys. I know you're loving the training. Thank you very much, Frank, but we are running out of time. But this call is recorded. You can review it while I post it on our YouTube channel. Well, we'd like to thank you, Frank, because we are so honored and excited to have you here with us tonight. Thank you very much for the knowledge that you shared with us, using and maximizing our back office. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Have a